All right, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about our textbook interface. As you know, some of you may have the paper, the hard copy of the textbook. Some of you may be choosing to use the ebook. That's fine, whichever one is more comfortable for you. But we do have this interface here where we're going to look at some different resources. We're going to submit assignments, and you're going to be able to find a lot of different things to help you, such as the video library for the textbook to move through the course. So just a reminder, you have this textbook interface as well as our D2L interface. So working with those together in our WIMBA sessions, then we can sort of bring all these resources together. So for example, here we have our assignment calendar. And in this specific course, for this semester, all assignments are due on Sunday night by 11:59 p.m. So we're working through one part of the chapter and we want to get these assignments due by 11:59 p.m. and they'll let you know when that is due if you're clicking on the activities. You can also view them by chapter. I think students find it most helpful to view them by date, so they can just click on the date in the in the calendar. So if we look at some of these here, some of them are very short and they just like to guide you through your reading in the textbook. If we go back, we can see maybe here's one that's a little bit longer. Okay, so when you see those assignments there, that list, some of them aren't going to take you all that long to do. Now, some of them I will need to go back and grade by hand, quote unquote. So some of them, it will show that I need to grade that for you. You won't see a grade pop up automatically. It'll show that you've completed it, but you might not see a grade automatically until I submit one for you. So that's our assignment calendar, and you can see here that we have a lot of different types of assignments. And one note, in our WIMBA sessions, we will go through some of these. So if you're attending the WIMBA session, then we'll be going through some of those assignments, and it might be really helpful for you to be in that WIMBA session so that you're getting that feedback as if we were doing it in a face-to-face classroom. So we would go through these same assignments because some of them come from your book, and we can speak back and forth synchronously in order to go through the assignments, and then that can help you to go ahead and get those done in a really constructive way. Now, I did mention the ebook, so if we click here, over here is going to be your navigation panel, and they're going to ask you to click to view your ebook. And one really nice thing about this ebook is that you can load it up the way that you would like to view it. So it's still loading here for me. Here I have a zoom in, zoom out. I can go immediately to whatever chapter I want to here. Let's say I want to go to the chapitre préliminaire. Still on the cover there. Okay, so let's go back to the contents. Didn't quite open up correctly. Okay, so I can start off here. If I know my page number, I can just, say if I want to go to page 5, I can just do that right there. Okay, and I can also make it 2 pages if that helps you to visualize things. I can make it a single page view. I can make it fit to width or fit to height here. You can also, if you mouse over the little activities right here, you can see that this says complete textbook activity, and it gives you the due date for our specific course. So if you're moving through this in the ebook, you can put those things together. Again, in the WIMBA session, that's really helpful because you can see, oh, okay, this is something that I can work on. If I click on that, it brings up the actual activity. So if you're with me in the WIMBA session, then we can do that together. Okay. One other thing I did want to mention right here, when you look at here, review it, it goes to the place in the ebook that this activity goes with. So again, what we have back here in the background, but you also have flashcards as well. This book has a lot of resources like that. So it's really helpful to mouse over a lot of things and see what you've got there that can help you, okay? For example, here you can see that it says assigned and it's graded, okay? So really explore this. You can also zoom in, zoom out, make notes, highlight things. So let's say I wanted to highlight something in pink. Okay, this is something I really need to remember because I'm having trouble with this. Merci. If I really need to remember the word merci, I can highlight And then I can view my highlights pane and see, oh yeah, I remember now that was a word I was having trouble with. When I was in the WIMBA session or when I was reviewing it, I remember I needed trouble. I needed help with that. I had some trouble with that. All right, so if we go back to, if we get out of our ebook and we go back here over to activities, okay, so these are going to be your homework activities, which are going to include some activities from your textbook as well as some activities from your online workbook. So that's really going to be helpful for you. Self-test. This is a great way to make sure that you are on track. If you start to feel like you're a little bit off track, then this is a way to go back and say, okay, let me see how well I'm doing. And also it builds a customized study plan. And not only does that help you to attack the book and the workbook and you're studying, but it also helps guide what questions you could ask me so that any sort of one-on-one interaction that we have on WIMBA or on Skype is more guided and more helpful for you. Okay, and you can see here they have pre and post tests there for you. And this is not something that I would take into your grade. This is something that is diagnostic for you, and possibly if you want to share it with me so that you can find out what you really need to focus on. Here is a very important part of video library. And as you've seen in the modules in the book, we have to really watch our videos. We're going to pull our grammar and our culture lessons from these videos. And the videos usually go for one video over each 2 chapters. So we're going to watch them multiple times, and that's okay because it's a new language, so we need to see how that plays out for us. We might only understand a couple of words the first time, and maybe that's just because we see a familiar setting, and maybe we're looking right here and we see some cars and we think, okay, that's maybe near a parking lot. And that's okay. So as we watch it multiple times, and as you watch the guided viewing videos that I then post on D2L, where I take you through for each chapter and say, okay, these are the points that we're studying in this chapter, and this is how they are exhibited in this video. Then for the next chapter, we'll look at it and we'll say, okay, these are the points in this chapter, and this is how, even though it might be the same video, this is how we're going to see them there. Then you get a bigger sense of the video, you see it in context, and you're able to see how it comes together as a whole. So this is where you're going to access those videos to watch them on your own. Now, one note here, you will always have some pre, during, and post viewing activities. Those are assigned online with your homework, and they're also in the book. They're from the book. So you're going to want to do those in sequence with watching the video, and you're going to want to start out your work with those activities and watching the video. You can also here, you can turn on your French subtitles so that you can really see how these language structures are working. You can see them in action as they're coming along. So anytime we have a video for the class, you're going to want to go back and look at the video through the video library. One really helpful tool is to watch it silently. So you can see they're not long, 6 minutes long. Watch it silently because that can give you a really great idea of what's going on. It can help you to establish a context. And whenever we're listening or reading or viewing something in a foreign language, we really want to establish that context. And some of these activities here that are assigned, they'll say previewing, and so those are the ones that are also going to help you establish a context as well. So it's really important that you do those before viewing the video. And as I mentioned, in addition to having this on your textbook website, on BlazeView, you'll have a video that I create, kind of like this one that I'm doing now, where I watch the video with you, I sort of narrate it, and I point out what's really going on that's pertinent to that chapitre or that partie. And then you have a lot of different resources here that can help you to practice. Sometimes we might use some of these, like this liaison musicale. We might use those in a class, okay? You have a lot of grammar tutorials. We usually try to post those on the BlazeView site as well so that you have multiple access to them. Audio flashcards, these are excellent, okay, for any type of practice for you to really hear those words and see them at the same time, okay? Other web activities, again, we might do those in class as well. And then, so here again is a grammar tutorial, a grammar podcast, okay? So you might want to download that or download the transcript to help you with that. So here you can see that you have so many resources, and this is just for the preliminary chapter. This is just for the preliminary chapter. So, okay, so if we click on others, we can see here again, more grammar tutorials, more resources for you there. So that's an overview. If we decide to use the voice board or the share it this semester, then we'll have a different session where we talk about that and go into more detail, because that's a little bit more detailed than just this general overview. And you also have the tutor, a NetTutor online tutoring service that you might want to think about. But remember, we also have on-site tutoring at VSU, and you always have time that you can come to me over Skype or through our Wimba classroom and really get some one-on-one help as well. But that's there if you need it. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me.